Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BlockHash, exploring the blockchain, episode 317. Today, we have a very interesting and exclusive episode with Moe Iman. Is that how I pronounce your last name?
That's right.
Moe Iman, the COO of Taboo.io, to talk about how blockchain is helping to change, alter, evolve, and empower the adult entertainment industry and their take on doing so. Mo, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. How you doing today?
Not too bad. Thank you for having me here, Brandon. Appreciate it.
Of course, it's an absolute pleasure. Before we jump in and start talking a bit more in depth about Taboo and what you guys are doing, tell me in the audience a bit more about yourself. Give me a bit of an overview of who you are and maybe a little bit about what you've done in the past.
Right. Wow. Where do I start? Well, born raised in Qatar. My background is a mix of banking, sports management, health and wellness. And early 2019 is where I started dipping my feet into Web3 and crypto. Primarily started with NFTs, worked for a few companies along the way. And a few years later, I'm here still in Web3, standing tall and strong, I guess, past the three arrows, past the FTX, past the Luna, and every other thing that we've been seeing, given what's been happening in the space, even in the last few days.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, I'd say, in the last year, just in the crypto market alone. I'm so glad that you're still here with us. It's a struggle for a lot of people just to kind of keep going right now. What was your first maybe experience you had with crypto or blockchain or Bitcoin that maybe piqued your interest and made you want to be a part of this industry? Do you have like a cool story behind that?
Oh, I think I have an interesting one. Like for me, it started with a few friends when I was in the bank, and they started talking about Bitcoin, whereby, to be honest, for the first few years, I genuinely believed that it was a scam. Like there isn't such a technology, something like this doesn't exist. And if it did, it would not be sustainable. I think around 2019, 2018 is when I started showing interest and accumulating some Bitcoin and Ethereum and dipping my feet into Binance NFTs. That's where I actually started from. And later moved on to much more bigger blue chip NFTs. And the more time I spent researching, connecting, learning, reading, watching podcasts, listening to videos, I realized that the potential is limitless. And I think we might just be scratching the tip of the surface.
Yeah, it was very similar for me too. I think Bitcoin was my first entry point into the space, and then Ethereum after that, and just kind of realized, wow, there's so much that you can do with the technology. There's so much more, I think, underneath the cloth on this.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's emerged into a massive industry, one that has also been partially pioneered by the adult entertainment industry, just like the internet was.
It is.
And that's kind of the topic we're going to be diving into today and learning about with Taboo. So tell us a bit more about what Taboo is and what you guys are trying to do.
Well, I'm going to try to keep it short and brief, as the team believes that there's an interesting mindset within the executive team, which is about most projects go on to complicating what they're building and who they're building for. And in that process, what they really do is discourage mass adoption. Whereas Taboo has been really keeping the narrative simple, straightforward, without any mixed jargons to ensure that we onboard the right users, which we have been currently at 50,000 token holders over the last 2 years. Taboo is really just a token-gated adult entertainment and media platform that creates, curates, and distributes premium content from well-known celebrities, influencers, and KOLs around the world.
Awesome. Is it mostly just focused on the gated content at the moment, or are you guys also building like a community or an exclusive club or a meeting point? or what other facets
That's
encompass
uh,
taboo?
that's that's an interesting question. So, I think that's also a bit of a misunderstanding when we talk about Taboo being a token gated platform.
Hmm.
However, it's not just that; it's much bigger than that. Taboo is also a social club. We have a very strong community of across the board of almost 60,000 members. Um, we've hit a market cap of 600 million in 2021 in the bull run, and I think we're getting back to that. What Taboo really is a safe space to bring together content creators, curators, but also the consumers alike into the same room, into the same group, whereby they can express what their fantasies are, what their requests are, and Taboo, through its access to its content creators, makes that a reality. In addition, Taboo also hosts yearly in-person Taboo Mansion events. One was held last year, um, and it was quite a big success. And all Tier 4 holders of Taboo um, get the access to the event fully paid on the expenses of Taboo.
Well, what's this mansion event? That sounds pretty cool. Is it like a Playboy Mansion-esque kind of thing, or is
It
it?
is, and it's a bit bigger than just the Playboy concept of it. So something interesting that when I was talking to our CEO James quite recently, where he mentioned that in the last Taboo Mansion event, I wasn't part of the team at that point. Um, they had tier 4 members who were attending. They managed to close almost close to $200 million in business, as it's also a high net worth income and ultra high net worth income clientele's networking event per se. And Taboo does this in collaboration with its partners, supporters, sponsors, and brands that have incentives and alignments with the vision that we have, with the mission that we have, where they all come together. They have a good exposure of their brands, their offerings, and Taboo also brings in all its models for the 3 days and 4 nights event.
That's interesting. That's really actually really creative. How have you guys raised capital for Taboo? Has it mostly been self-funded? Have you taken outside money?
Taboo has been self-funded till date. We have received multiple offers from VCs, from investment firms and investment arms, as it piques everyone's interest.
Hmm.
Nobody can overlook that the adult entertainment business is a $45 billion addressable market, given that we are the pioneers in the space. Um, and there are challenges around it. However, there's still VCs, family funds, investors that reach out to us often, showing interest in investing in us and growing Taboo. But till date, Taboo has been self-funded.
Interesting. What's your growth strategy like? What are you guys doing in terms of marketing both the brands, but also trying to reach new potential users?
Right. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. So,
Hmm.
other than Taboo being the adult entertainment and media platform and being a social club, Taboo also doubles up as one of the biggest marketing and KOL agency by itself, given that across Taboo's ambassadors models, we have a global reach of 35 million viewership. We don't really have to work or have a heavy spend on marketing and growth, where Taboo actually leverages its network, its internal ambassadors, its KOLs, its models to create that. And with past experiences of having done multiple, James is a serial entrepreneur, just to let you know, the CEO, who has launched and successfully exited multiple businesses. With his experience and guidance, we happen to have a very solid marketing and growth strategy in mind, where we use both online, offline, co-marketing, cross-community pollination, and partners to ensure that Taboo is always in front of everyone's head, mind, and also is a brand that is eventually going to be a household name.
Okay, so it seems like you guys are growing and expanding at quite a rapid rate, and quite successfully, which is awesome. What are these users look like that you are bringing in and onboarding? Are these generally like models or influencers or exotic dancers or webcammers? What does that demographic kind of look like for you guys?
So primarily, Taboo has a very rigorous screening process. What I mean by this is we are very transparent in who we work with, how we work with them, and how they're compensated for their contribution. And in this process, we try to ensure that every KOL, every contributor, every content creator that is a part of Taboo has been screened, is does not have any criminal records per se, is of legal age, has not been in any sort of scandals, and most of our, if not all, of our content creators are celebrities, influencers. Chloe Treya, who's our PR and brand ambassador, is someone who is well known globally, associated with a lot of large brands, and she has about what 4.7 million followers just on Instagram.
Interesting. When especially when you get that kind of viewership on a platform, you're seeing that kind of growth and a diversity of users. Usually, you get interesting breakout niches that happen. Like for example, on Pornhub, you'd think that you go there just to find porn, but I've also found like full on movies being put on that platform. I found people doing podcast shows.
Mm-hmm.
You find like the weirdest things, and then they end up being like really successful because they're the only one there and no one really thought it would be taking place. Have you start to see a bit of an evolution maybe on the platform where people are experimenting with what they could do, or maybe how the features could align with something new that they could get into, or is it still kind of early for that?
I think it's a bit early for that. However, as a part of our roadmap and commitment and the vision that we see, the Taboo marketplace is exactly for that, whereby it's not just going to be Taboo owned content. Third parties, partners can come in and upload their content. They can advertise. They can place their merchandise for sale on the Taboo marketplace, co-brand and launch limited edition collectibles, and that could vary everything from sex toys to actually posters, magazines, signed memorabilia, and it's just one of the multiple sources of revenue for Taboo itself. So we see this as almost an untapped market and a gold mine that we are actively developing and exploring.
Awesome. Walk me through the process a little bit. So if I'm a creator and I go to Taboo, I sign up, I create a piece of content, and how does it get seen? How do I get paid as a creator? Is this in crypto? Is there potential integrations with Stripe or PayPal at some point? How does this process kind of work if I'm a creator and I want to jump on and start using it?
That's an interesting question. So at the moment, I can walk you through quite simply how it looks like. So as a creator, you'd first have to go onto taboo.io and fill out a very simple form, an application form, whereby the next step would be one of the team members would reach out to you to verify your identity, your credentials, run a background check to ensure you are who you say you are, and that you are a good fit for Taboo's brand, and also for the Taboo consumers. Past that, Taboo supports the creator by guiding them as to what kind of content is currently in demand on the platform, and gives them an option per se whereby they can play around with static, dynamic, more immersive or interactive content. And that content is then published onto the marketplace. And upon the sale of that content, as it's a token gated marketplace, um, the creator and Taboo share the percentage of the revenue, and a small percentage of that goes back into the Taboo's treasury for marketing and growth.
Got it. Let's talk about the blockchain and tech side of it a bit as well. I want to know how Taboo is leveraging blockchain. Obviously, the obvious one is the token gating for content, and I want to talk about that first. But after that, also want to see maybe other areas potentially you want to explore with blockchain with Taboo. But first, focus on token gating. How does that process work? I know for a lot of people, they've heard of it, but it's not as common yet, and it's not on major social media platforms at the moment. How does that work for a creator that is blocking their content, looking for payment in crypto?
Right. I think the process itself is quite easy. I think before we started this call, we were talking, I think, briefly about how a lot of developers, founders in the space, what they have gone on to do is overcomplicate technology, the use of technology, to a limit that it's almost discouraged average users to almost come in and engage. Because when we say token gated for a normal user, what does that really mean? Right? They're like, what does the token mean? Where's the gate? How do I access it? Where are the keys? How complicated is this? How safe is it? Whereby really token gated, all that it means is as long as you hold either the Taboo token or a Taboo NFT, as a user, when you log in to the marketplace with your wallet, you have access to all the content over there based on the tier system that you fall under. Now, Taboo has a 4-tier system for its members. Tier 1 is open to all. However, they have limited access to the marketplace and its content. Tier 1 is a $2,500 holding in Taboo token. It gives the holders a 5% discount on all content on the marketplace, gives them priority on merchandise drops. And this goes on all the way till tier 4, which is a $10,000 in Taboo token. And this gives them about 20% discount on the Taboo marketplace, gives them first opportunity to meet and greet the content creator. And we're also working, and this is something of an alpha, on a way where we will be taking in requests from the consumers and the end user as to if they would like to have a personalized message, let's say for their anniversary or their birthday or their retirement or any form of celebration, right, from one of their favorited content creator. And Taboo would ensure that this is delivered with the highest quality.
Interesting. What about other potential applications of the blockchain? I imagine for a creator, you could have some kind of fan-based token. If you're a user, maybe you could gift in tokens or NFTs to a creator that might be live streaming or doing something along those lines. Maybe having NFTs represent products, which I think you mentioned earlier. Maybe it's a sex toy, maybe it's a lubricant, maybe it's something.
It could be as simple as almost like an educational course on sex health, because a big part of Taboo is also not just to be the pioneers and lead the way in adult entertainment and media, but do its part in educating, empowering, in creating a more fair, transparent, more respectful playground, both for the consumers and as well as the creators, given that adult entertainment has such a bad reputation when it comes to sex workers. Content creators, where they are being harassed, they are almost intimidated. They feel that they are not safe. Taboo is trying to build that authority by saying we're here for a reason, that we do want you to create what you're creating, but also create it with the peace of mind, with safety, and knowing that you get paid when you have to get paid, and that is done transparently, right? And that's quite important. So on the token gated side, that's correct. Taboo token is a utility token, and it's a deflationary one. Currently, its application are for staking and the marketplace purchase of the content. As we progress towards Taboo's VR, AR immersive experience, live stream, and personalized content, users can use Taboo token to actually pay-per-view, pay-per-minute, and also purchase merchandise on the store itself.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know you guys were getting into AR and VR too. That's going to be a really fun model to put together. Have you guys thought about making this into an application potentially for iOS or for Android at some point to make it easier for a user to get access to the platform?
I definitely think that's a part of our plan for 2024. This year, our focus is really on an upgrade onto the marketplace, improvements on security, better UX and UI for both the users, the content creators, and then one of the other things that we are getting closer towards is in the last year, Taboo has generated a sizable amount of content that's yet to be released onto the marketplace. And we plan to do so in this coming few months.
Okay, so you guys have been banking content.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. I think we mentioned it a little bit already, but my next question was a little bit more how you guys are helping to empower the adult entertainment industry. And I think you kind of answered most of that question already. For creators and users and helping debunk the stigma, I think, around the idea of adult entertainment. But another question I had is, how do you feel, within the blockchain industry, is there like competition to what you guys are trying to do right now? Or do you feel like you're pioneering on something new that might not be out there yet?
That's really, this is quite interesting. There's almost like a SWOT analysis per se. When we look at it, we almost don't feel that we have competitors. There are projects that exist that claim that they're doing something similar. However, there are rules that they break. There are ethos that they do not follow, such as transparency, such as ensuring the safety of the content creators, using blockchain in the right way to ensure privacy of the consumer, um, leveraging blockchain technology to actually, one of the challenges that arose with adult entertainment in Web 2 was all about the sites that were using phishing scams and viruses and malware to hack into the user's desktop or phone to then steal their identity, or going as far as almost recording their cameras, right? Leveraging blockchain technology, token gated technology, Taboo ensures that this does not happen. That's really important. So, given that there is a large, I think, adult entertainment is something that everyone in the world consumes, irrespective whether there's a stigma attached to it, whether there's a denial about it, or there's an opposition. Everybody in this world consumes adult entertainment in one form or another, whether it be offline, online, in an intimate surrounding, or in a much more larger public gathering. What Taboo really does is it sets a standard, and sets certain ground rules whereby future and current creators feel safe, are recognized, and consumers know that we are a premium brand that is open to everyone to access and to indulge with and to interact.
Absolutely. I want to get your opinion on the stigma a little bit more, because I think it's been rapidly changing over the last, maybe 5 years or so, with the advent of social media, more in particular TikTok, and then having Twitter become more open to it and allowing that kind of content on their platform, to things like OnlyFans. And it feels like we really haven't had quite a revolution in in I think sexuality for people since like the Roaring Twenties, when they were finally allowed to show their kneecaps. um, and now you have, girls running around and dancing on social media and on TikTok. And I say girls because I think the adult entertainment industry is primarily pioneered by women, and more power to them for doing so. But it's been made so much more open, I think, because previously pornography online has been, looked at it's this dark place on the internet you go to if you want to see sex or sexual acts, or if you're into something. But now it's like, all you got to do is go to someone's TikTok, and you pretty much can get a glimpse into it, and you can, build a relationship around someone, and then you can follow them to their private page on like OnlyFans, and you get access to exclusive content for $10 a month. And it's like pornography has gotten overly personalized or is getting more and more personalized. And I think this is a big opportunity for Taboo as well, given a lot of these major platforms, whether it's Pornhub or OnlyFans, um, have had a lot of issues with privacy rights for these content creators, as well as distributing out funds. Some illegal activity happening behind the scenes with some of the founders, or leaking out content or photos or videos to miscellaneous websites. I think there's a really interesting opportunity for Taboo to tap into some of those holes, those gaping holes that exist in this industry, to make it not only more safe for them to use, like you mentioned, but maybe even more inclusive than people thought it could be. And I don't know, maybe this can just, the stigma can disappear at some point and just becomes an acceptable part of life, which I think is where it's trending.
Definitely. And I think that's where the Taboo Mansion event, the annual gathering, really plays a pivotal part in it, whereby, as you mentioned, like if it's Pornhub or OnlyFans, there are still challenges every day where these creators are being stalked, harassed, and almost followed in real life at times, right? By their so-called fans that turn into, I would not like to label them into anything, right? It does happen. People do go into extremes. Whereas Taboo, what Taboo does is Taboo creates that bridge and builds that bridge and offers those consumers an opportunity to meet their favorite creators once a year for 2 or 3 days and nights across different organized events, which are hosted in safe spaces, which are hosted in private venues, whereby tier 4 holders come in, the models, Taboo models come in, the ambassadors fly in, and everybody just gets together and has a great time. And what this really does is it also builds a different image about the content creators, the Taboo models, in the eyes of its consumers, where they have more respect. They meet them in person, they engage with them, they get into conversations, they get to have drinks and dinner with them. And this really changes the whole narrative. So I think what Taboo's really doing is pioneering how to conduct oneself and collectively as a business in this space and on a larger scale for everyone.
Absolutely. Where would you say most of the viewership comes from? Is it from the United States, or do you get international presence as well? Or what does the demographic for that look like?
Right. So our biggest viewership does come from the US. That's closely followed by Germany. And then we have quite a lot of viewership coming in from Europe. We also have predominantly a big market from Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Asia. So we're pretty much around the world right now.
Excellent. So what's coming up for you guys? What are your plans here for the rest of 2023? Do you have any new features coming out? Any important dates or rollouts on your roadmap? Or is there something that you want users or potential users to keep an eye out for? What should people know?
Oh, wow. Taboo has a lot of things in store. I think
Go for it.
all the way starting from improvements in security, improvements in the backend and operations, better data analytics tools to improve who we are reaching to and how we're reaching to them, understanding our consumers, understanding our creators. We're also launching quite a lot of new models and content creators onboarding programs. That's going to be closely followed by improvements on our UX and UI on the marketplace. Taboo is also, as I mentioned a bit earlier briefly, one of the big commitments that we have is the introduction and exploring of VR and AR to offer new and existing users an immersive experience and really explore that and build upon that. And our Q3 is our second Taboo Mansion event.
Where's the mansion event going to be held?
Right. So this is something that we do not disclose publicly
Okay.
for, again, safety and security reasons. However, users can find us and join our Telegram group. And once they do, we do have discussions about that quite actively over there, or on our Discord as well. We disclose the location usually 3 weeks prior to the confirmation of the date.
What was the previous location?
It was in Phuket, Thailand.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So some of these destinations are international.
They're international. All the locations are international. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Where can people go to learn more? Obviously, there's taboo.io, but do you want to direct them anywhere else? Do you guys have like a blog or a Medium? Do you have a community on Discord or Telegram?
Yeah, definitely. So Taboo's branding is quite consistent. So Taboo can be found on Twitter with Taboo Token. I can share the links over here in the video as well after the conversation. Yeah. We have Taboo is most active on our English Telegram group. We have a Discord. We have Instagram. We have a Medium where we publish articles every 2 weeks, and we are looking at increasing the publications there. You can find us on CoinMarketCap quite easily. I think even if people don't know Taboo, they should know Taboo, given that Taboo has been one of the most trending tokens of 2023 and even of 2021. I mean, we were doing about 40 million a day on daily trading volume. So it's not something that's unknown. It's not a brand that is not familiar with many, but best way to find it is go to www.taboo.io, and all of our social links will be there, so you can find us and connect with us over there.
Awesome. We'll be sure to put those links as well down in the description for the episode to make it easier for people to find. For those listening, make sure to go check out Taboo at taboo.io. Check out the social media. Check out everything they got going on. It's very fascinating. I really like it as a use case. I think it's something that this industry needs. I think it's something that adult entertainment needs. And I think it's going to fill some gaping holes in this space as well. So glad to see that you guys are having a lot of success early on. And I don't see why you guys can't keep growing. So very excited for you guys. And
thank you,
Mo, thank you for taking the time to come on the show and share a bit more about what you're doing, how you're empowering this industry, how you're innovating on this industry, and how you guys are using blockchain to make it all happen.
I appreciate you having me on the show, Brandon. And just to wrap things up, one more thing that I do want to mention is if you go check out our roadmap, something that I might have skipped due to excitement, is that Taboo also plans to launch a Taboo grant program in Q3, whereby we will be inviting builders and developers to come and build on top of Taboo, build in collaboration with us. So this will be something to keep an eye out for, especially given that there are teams that might have been affected and will be affected with the recent incidents with SVB. However unfortunate that is, we also want to do our part in ensuring that we create an opportunity not just for creators, but builders in this space equally.
Nice. Is that on the website now? Is there more information?
It's that on the website now. That's correct.
Okay, cool. Awesome, Mo. Thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Let's do it again soon.
Will do. Thank you very much for having me, Brandon. Have a good one.